What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of TK Aquariums. Today we will be filling up the 55 long here. I'm tired of looking at an empty tank. I redid the seals. They've been done for at least a week, so they had a week to actually curate and actually seal up the seams. I've been actually looking at all the seams constantly, making sure everything looks good, and I'm actually very, very happy with the outcome of how it is. Excuse me. But with that being said, today I am going to be filling this up. I will be actually using established fish tank water from the 55 or 56 column over here. So I will be transferring water from here with a siphon, couple buckets. I might actually even be able just to siphon it straight into here, honestly. It's next door neighbor. Quick and easy water change. As you can also see, TK got a couple new fish inside of this tank. Those are going to be the Blahares. Yeah, the Blahares, rainbows. As you know from my channel so far, I am absolutely in love with rainbow fish. They have crazy personality. They can produce crazy amounts of colors. And these guys are half juvenile, half adult. I'm letting them temperature acclimate right now. And then when I end this video and stuff like that, I'll actually be adding at least half a cup of water each time while I'm doing the water change and everything like that. I will probably test the water on my 20 and my 29, see if it's in with the same parameters as the 56 column. If it is not, I will not be trying to cross-contaminate this tank any further. But all my fish tanks in my fish room will be getting a water change. I will be actually filling the 55 up long again. I'm extremely excited. This is something I've been kind of waiting for a while now. The only thing that I do need are some lids, or at least a glass canopy or something for water evaporation. We want to try and minimize that as much as possible. So tomorrow, maybe the day after, I'm going to probably get some glass canopies to reduce the condensation and water evaporation. So that way the water would constantly be in there, kind of like the 56 column. I mean, since the day that I've actually filled this tank up, I've done probably 2 water changes, and honestly, I've seen little to no evaporation from it. Even though it's sitting at 76 degrees. I have the little thermometer right here. Let's actually see where it's at. 78 degrees, even better, honestly. Tropical fish in there, rainbow fish, kind of like that as well. So today we're going to be filling up the 56 or 55 long. I'm extremely excited. It's something I've been kind of waiting for a while now. Stay tuned. I'll probably show you guys about halfway through what it's going to look like, and we'll see where it's at that point, all right? So it'll just be a second for you guys, but it's probably going to be about an hour before I actually get this tank filled up. But once it is, I'll show you guys again, all right? Stay tuned. My bad, I forgot to hit the stop button. But stay tuned. Alright, so I had to stop doing what I was doing real quick because it started going through my head. Some of you guys don't know what I mean when I say establish a tank. An established fish tank pretty much has a lot of beneficial bacteria that are growing on the wood, the rocks, the plants, the glass, and on the sponge filters and everything like that. So that bacteria is actually able to help the nitrogen cycle. It's a part of the nitrogen cycle. And what the nitrogen cycle is something that breaks down ammonias and nitrites. Those are 2 of the most toxic things in aquariums. A lot of beginner fish keepers, they make the mistake of setting up a tank the same day that they want to put the fish in, not realizing that those fish need some time to actually temperature acclimate within it, or not temperature acclimate, but acclimate to the water quality. When you have a fish tank that's set up brand new, there's going to be no bacteria in that tank for that fish to survive. They need that bacteria to be able to break down their poop, any type of decay and all those other things into something called nitrate. Now, nitrates is one of the more safer forms of anything that's inside of your aquarium, other than, pHs and stuff like that. But with that being the safest form, what that's doing is that's actually setting up your fish tank for success. Mainly because with nitrates, all you have to do is either do water changes or have a large plant load like over here. My nitrates are always under 20 parts per million. I did have a problem having high nitrate problems, but that's when I found out about live plants being able to actually absorb all those extra nutrients and stuff and pull that out of the water column and make it into something a lot more beneficial. So what I'm doing is I'm removing the water from here. I was actually able to transfer it right next door to its neighbor and to the 55. And now this tank is going to be getting established with established water. Now when I add the new water inside of this tank, what I'm going to do is I have a hang-on back filter, or otherwise known as a HOB, hang-on back. I will be grabbing that sponge that I have on the intake valve, which is going to help, which brings the water into the pump with a pump and then out the filter. I will be taking the sponge off of that, and I will be squeezing that inside of here, because that sponge is a form of filtration called mechanical filtration. That's what removes all the debris. So that sponge filter right there, the one that's shooting all those fine bubbles, that's another sponge filter. But I'm going to be using the one that's on the back of the hang-on back. That way I don't disturb any of the substrate and all that other stuff. I'll probably adjust that, fix it, stand it straight up, because it is a little bit crooked towards the back. But all in all, I will be cleaning that sponge out inside of this tank, releasing all those beneficial bacteria inside of there. Probably throw a couple moss balls in there to help with, the growth and stimulant of, being able to establish it quicker. I do have a piece of driftwood in there right now that is floating. I do want to have the tannins released from that, so I will not be boiling it. I will not be, doing anything, but it was something that was cleaned prior to being put inside the fish tank. Way I cleaned it was hosed it down. I do have well water, so I'm not worried about dechlorinating it or anything of that means. But like I said, I want to be able to have a little bit of tannins in here. Once all that stuff cycles and I do a couple water changes on it, within 2 weeks most likely, this tank will actually be set up and ready to go. But yeah, so within a few weeks I'll have fish in here. I did make a video asking, you viewers, what should I put in there, or not what should I put in there, but what did I say I was going to put in there in one of the previous videos. I've been talking about it a while. This is going to be a cichlid tank. I will be doing cichlids inside of here, have some sort of aggressive fish and whatnot, do a lot of rock work in here as well. So that's going to have my cichlids, my pike cichlid, my dwarf pike, my convict cichlids are going to be in there, and I might get a couple other South and Central American cichlids to be in here. I don't want nothing that's going to get of monstrous size like Oscars. People think, I've seen it all too many times. I'm not going to name any pet stores and stuff like that, but it is usually the corporate pet stores. Like I said, I don't want to name any of them and stuff like that, but they always, their employees, I got to give it to them, they're good employees, but they just give bad recommendations. We get too many people who come into our jobs surrendering their Oscars or any other fish because it started outgrowing their tank. Oscars can grow very, very, very large. No, they will not stay this big, and they will not live in a 10-gallon tank or a 20-gallon tank. I will not sell it to you if you have a tank that small. I recommend at least 55 gallons. It will even bust through that tank itself. Now, when I say bust through the tank, I don't mean it's going to boom and smash it. No, it's going to bust it because it's going to outgrow the tank. When it's outgrowing that tank, you got to realize, fish can develop a lot of medical problems that humans can. If it's a small tank and they don't have enough room to turn or spin, they can develop scoliosis. Their spine will be all messed up and jagged. I've seen a fish come in and the thing looked like this. I know I look funny, and I know you guys probably would laugh, but I didn't think it was that funny. The fact that this fish didn't have the proper requirements that it needed to actually thrive and get the most out of it upset me very much. So learn about what you guys are getting before you get it. Learn about the requirements for them before you get it, and just get ready for it. I'm always prepared. I have so many things. I have so many extra filtration systems. This tank already has filters for it. I don't have to worry about going and purchasing anything else. I always am prepared. I plan ahead. This tank has been empty. I've had this tank for at least close to 3 to 4 months, and today is when I'm filling it up with water because I wanted to get the proper knowledge. I wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing, and I wanted to make sure that I was keeping the right fish for the right size tank. Hence the reason why 55 gallons is good for cichlids, certain cichlids. If I get an African cichlid, a giraffe African cichlid, a giraffe cichlid, that thing is going to be very boisterous. That fish is going to get extremely aggressive. Not only that, but that fish is just, it's going to get too out of hand. People see them when they're only 2 or 3 inches and be like, wow, I could put that with all my other cichlids, you know, I have all these other fish and they're around the same size. Cichlids don't know who they are until they're around the 4 to 5 inch range. Once they get to that point, that's when they know, oh, I'm a mean mofo, or I'm the one, I'm the dominant one. And that's what they do. They create so much dominance and territorialness that they just become so aggressive. That's why African cichlids are the more aggressive fish. Not to say that South and Central American cichlids aren't either. But you can have like red devils. This tank is good for one red devil. One red devil. Hence the reason, you know, those guys are another form of tank busters. They're going to bust through the size of the tanks. So he'll outgrow this 55 gallon. And if I had a red devil, I'd have to move him into my 75 gallon. Like Larry the largemouth here, you guys might think this is a joke, but some fish really get this big. People will get aeropymas that get over 4 feet long and think that a juvenile is going to fit in their tank when it gets bigger than this. You also have like an Oscar actually will get this big at least 16 to 18 inches. That's a big fish. Can you handle that inside of a 10 gallon? No. A 10 gallon only goes to 12 inches. You're not putting that in no 10 gallon. So I don't recommend it. Learn about the fish before you get them. Learn about how to cycle your tank with the nitrogen cycle before you even get a fish tank. You have to learn these things. These are the basic requirements of being a fish keeper. If you do not know how to maintain a fish tank, don't get one. But I'm here to help you guys out. I'm here to show you guys how to make it easier, how to establish it. If you guys have any questions about anything, about any species of fish, any type of tank, what they need, requirements, necessities, all that, let me know down in the comments below. I will answer them. I look at all my comments. I don't get very many, but I look at them. I make sure I at least like and love every single one of them that I see get posted down below. Alright, so by all means, please don't forget, comment down below any questions you have about any fish tanks, what the nitrogen cycle is. If you guys want to know the exact specifics of a nitrogen cycle, I recommend you guys comment down below. I'll give you a whole entire thing about them. But with that being said, I'm going to get back to this. I just wanted to, give a little bit of a rant about everything, but all in all, I'll be right back. Alright guys, coming back. While I'm filling up the buckets to fill up the tank, I'm actually making a makeshift filter. So I don't have the base of a sponge filter, but I do have a bunch of coarse sponges. So as you can see, I have 2 of them right here. Main thing that I am going to be doing is I'm actually going to be using an aerator. So this is going to give it very fine bubbles, and it's actually going to be able to pull it straight through. So what I'm doing is I'm actually putting this aerator, well first, it has to sink. Any type of air pump that you actually get or sponge filter, it comes with that little base, the gray base. If you look at my 56 column just a couple minutes ago or just a couple seconds ago, you'll actually see the big one in there. That's going to have a weight in there. I don't have one of those right now. I know I said I am always prepared, and I am always prepared because I'm showing you right now. I have a bunch of lead weights that you can get from any of your local fish stores. It's what they use to actually bundle up a lot of the plants. I'm taking these lead weights and I am placing them inside of this sponge. So now it's weighted. Give me 1 second. I got to switch over the tube into the next bucket just so it doesn't overflow while I'm making this video. Next bucket. Okay. So put the lead weights inside of here. Then I am going to grab the aerator. I'm going to put the aerator inside of here. I have a little like twist tie, not a zip tie, but a twist tie. I will be twist tying this. As you can see, I will twist tie the aerator to this. So now all that air that is going to be pushing it outwards is going to pull in all the debris. I did squeeze one of the sponge filters into the 55 as you can see over there, but it is very cloudy and murky. So that is good. That means there's bacteria in there now. I know that for a fact. And just to have that double jeopardy, I will be putting this inside of here as well. So we are going to pull that through like so. So now I have a giant sponge filter, a weighted giant sponge filter. So now all the debris is going to be able to get sucked into this, and now we have another form of filtration. I just hooked this up to my aerator with the separation valves and stuff like that, and we're going to be able to put a little filter in there, and here you go. That's a makeshift. I have a little cut here because I actually use these like little cuts to install them in certain different things. So this is just an extra sponge filter that I did have laying around, and yeah, so I'm going to be putting this inside of the 55 long. Be right back. Another thing real quick, guys. Very, very, very sad right now. I'm doing water changes on all my beta tanks like I always do. And I'm doing cotton candies right now. And cotton candy is sleeping. Worst part about being, you know, a fish keeper, especially keeping beta, something that I personally love, is losing them. Cycle of life, you know, I did give him the best life that he could possibly live as a fish, but you know, some things just happen and you know, you really can't control it. This is one of the things I couldn't control. You know, he just ended up morting out or dying, or as I like to say, he went to sleep. I'm extremely upset. That's one of my personal favorite fish. I have a very soft spot for Dumbo ears. Silver lining though, to be very honest, silver lining is you can get another beta. I do have another beta right now. I've been changing out his water constantly. I have him with a moss ball and a little Java fern leaf and stuff like that, so maybe we can move him over into there. He's a dragon scale. He's probably the one, he is the one that I showed you in the previous videos. Yeah, part about, you know, the fish hobby. I am a little sad, I am a little upset. This is a fish that I've held dear to my heart, to be honest with you, but you gotta say farewell to cotton candy, guys. Gonna miss that little dude always greeting me, first one. But it's a part of the hobby and everything, guys. You know, I did do a test on his water. Everything was pretty much fine. Other than ammonia, there was a little bit of ammonia, but that's because he's dead now. This morning when I was doing my feedings, he was doing just fine. But I don't know what happened within this morning up until this point right now. But yeah, guys, so it's a little bit of a sad day here in the TKA Aquarium's fish rooms. But it is what it is. You live, you learn, and you get it out of the way. But, I mean, dang, look at that. It's, like I said, still looking cloudy. It's not as clear as a 56, which I filled back up. But, as you can see, I did put a couple of rocks on there. Mainly to weigh it down. Those lead weights were doing good, but I just wanted to make sure it was secure. If you also notice, around that sponge filter, there is no debris, but all the debris is all around everywhere else. So I will be siphoning all that stuff out in probably a day or two. I kind of want to let that stuff just sit in there. But yeah, cotton candy, farewell. Fish heaven you go. I'll meet you there one day. But all in all, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget, leave a like down below. If you guys got some information or you know you learned about something, comment down below what you guys learned. Alright, I would love to know if you guys learned anything. And I always like to say, if you have any questions about anything, leave it down in the comments down below as well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Not only that, but that bell icon, so that way you guys are always notified every time I post up a new video. But with that being said, I love to say it, and do not forget, ski!